Before I bring in Aaron and Andy to the conversation here, I want to talk with you a little bit more about this specific pipeline. Let's explain what it is. It's $11 billion, 745 miles, and it's owned by Gazprom, of course, the Russian gas giant. It will basically double the amount of natural gas Moscow is able to directly export to Germany. So on the one hand, you've got Gazprom saying the pipeline provides a highly reliable supply of Russian gas to Europe. But on the other, this is something that's been opposed by the U.S., by some European countries who worry that the pipeline would give Moscow more leverage over Western Europe. You have this conservative think tank, the Atlantic Council, saying the pipeline undermines Europe's energy security strategy, giving Russia a 40% share of the EU natural gas market. So two questions to you, General Clark. Number one, are the president's concerns on this valid? And number two, even if they are, you think this is the right setting for this conversation?
Well, I think it's true that Germany needed a better energy policy. Ever since they got rid of their nuclear reactors, they've been more and more heavily reliant on Russian gas. This is not good. The United States has natural gas. We could export it to Germany if we're given the opportunity to do this. So that may be one of the reasons why President Trump has brought this up. But yes, I do think it's of concern when Germany is that dependent on Russian gas. But you have to remember that that means that the Russians are dependent on German revenues from the natural gas. And so there's a dependency there. We're not trying to restart the Cold War. What we want is a strong, cohesive alliance where members with different domestic interests can still work together for the collective security of all. That's what NATO's been in the past. There have always been differences between allies on various issues. That's what we want going forward. Russia is more challenging now, pushing harder against our NATO members in the Baltics and the Balkans than they were, let's say, 10 years ago. And this is a real concern.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.